into the material. We're going to be talking about some specific business school advising practices today, and some information I'm going to kind of glaze over, information that you guys need to know, but we want to follow up with you all with more detailed information, so that way you are able to get the information that we're providing to you today, but also be able to follow through with some of the instructions more detailed. So my graduate assistant here, Kat Dujard, she just sent a link in the chat box. So if you are joining our presentation today, please go ahead and click on the link in the chat box. It's going to take you to a Google form so that we can take down your name and ID number, so that way we can follow up with you via email with some of that important information that we want to follow up with today. And I'll kind of dive into a little bit more about that once we get into the presentation. So again, just to reiterate, in the chat box, there's a Google form. Please click on the link and submit that information, so that way we can get you the information that we need. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and move on. My name is Maggie Breitenbach. I am one of the academic advisors here in the business school. And we really wanted to introduce you all to us today, who we are, what we do, what does registration look like in our office, how might it be a little bit different from other offices, basically just the important information that you need to know every semester for getting registered for classes and meeting with us. So here on this slide, we have a fun masked picture of all of us, or at least most of us in this picture. So here you'll see some of your academic advisors, your friendly faces over here in Bryan Undergraduate Student Services. If you are not sure, we are located in Bryan 137. So if you are heading towards the Bryan building from the EUC, if you come straight in those front doors, go down the flight of stairs, we are there on your left, right beside the snack machines and elevators. That's where our office is located. You can also contact us. I have our email address here, as well as our phone number. Again, I'm going to follow up with you guys with an email, so you don't feel like you have to rush to write it down, but this is who we are. So in the business school, we are professional advisors, and we advise based on student last name. So over the next couple of slides, I have, again, just a screenshot of some of our names, some of the students that we are working with. I do want to preface this with, you may see your last name under someone's an advisor, but you may have a different advisor. So for example, our CARS students see different advisors than some of the business school advisors, but only after their first year. So you can also see our director of undergraduate student services here. We have a director of online operations, as well as some of our other caseloads here. So again, no rush to write this information down. I am going to follow up with this presentation, instructions for you to figure out exactly who your academic advisor is. You can find out who your academic advisor is in multiple ways. But again, just wanted to kind of introduce you to how we work with students by student last name. Again, our CARS advisors work with specifically with CARS students. And our advisor, Nadia Clark-Brown, is working with special populations this semester, so you may or may not see her. So just to go over who we are and exactly what we do, again, we are professional advisors. So what does that mean? In the business school, there are about 10 of us right now as professional advisors, and that means that 100% of our job responsibility is that we are here to serve you. We are here to support you and help move you through the next however many years that you're here in UNCG. You may have heard of faculty advisors. Faculty advisors tend to work with students in their senior, junior years. They're very major specific. Some other colleges have this kind of role where faculty advisors will teach, but also work with a caseload of students. Here in the business school, we have advisors here that are 100% dedicated to supporting you. Each advisor works with about 400 to 500 students a semester. And that's important for you all to know as we move forward with, talking about appointment scheduling and meeting with your advisor. So right, there's only one of me and I'm working with about 500 of you. And we do meet with our students one-on-one. Some schools will have group advising. Very occasionally, we will have group advising services offered in special circumstances, but most of the time, we're meeting with you one-on-one each semester. Why are we meeting each semester? So you guys are meeting with us to talk about classes for next semester. Most importantly, you have to meet with your advisor to get your advising code to register for the following semester. And so those appointments are going to be one-on-one. To schedule an appointment with your advisor, and this is something that's going to be your responsibility, you will schedule with us in Starfish. Again, as long as you fill out that Google form, I am going to send you a follow-up email with information, exactly step-by-step instructions for scheduling in Starfish. We do our appointments in person, over the phone, Google Hangout. I will say fall 2020 is a special circumstance. We are not meeting with students in person right now. So right now we're doing virtual appointments only. Another thing I'd like to point out is that we are open year round. So even if you are not here in the summer, we are. So if you have any questions or anything that's on your mind that you want to work on over the summer, we are here to help year round. So please make sure that you're staying in contact with us if you have any questions. So as professional advisors here in the business school, what is our responsibility? What are we here to help you with? We work with you every semester on course selection. So we will help you identify what classes make sense for the next semester, what classes make sense in terms of your graduation timeline, helping you kind of figure out which classes make sense together. Major and minor exploration. Maybe you're not super happy with the major that you're in right now. Maybe you're considering something else. Please come talk to us about that. We can help you identify what majors make sense for your career goals. We can also help you identify career goals based on the major that you're in. If maybe you love your major, but you're not sure what to do with it. So again, we are here to help talk about majors and minors. Graduation planning. So this is something else that we can do. We can map out what you need to take every semester from start to finish. There are some times of the year that we won't do graduation planning appointments. They do take a little bit of time, anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes. So I'm going to talk to you in a little bit about what we call peak advising. So that's a time we don't do graduation planning, but if it's something that you're interested in, I still encourage you to at least email your advisor to bring it up, because we want to help you have your own roadmap. Study abroad planning. This is something that I encourage every student to at least consider. All of the majors within the business school, it is very doable for you to study abroad and graduate within a 4-year timeline, as long as you're planning ahead and planning early. So if studying abroad is something that you are thinking about, come talk to us. We can help you figure out what countries or what schools make sense for what it is that you're studying. We can help you figure out what classes you might want to take while you're abroad. And if study abroad is something you're not sure that is feasible for you, whether again, it's because of your program or maybe financially, I still recommend talking to your advisor about it, even if it only slightly interests you, because there are scholarships available, and we want to do what we can to make sure that you're meeting your goals. We also help with internship and career questions. In the business school, we don't necessarily house internships that we can place you into, but we can definitely help with the process of finding an internship, helping you identify what it is that you need to apply to those internships, where to find internships. We want to help you through that process. So again, make sure you're talking to us about those things if it's on your radar. And then last but not least, I always like to mention that we are here to assist with personal and/or academic issues. I like to tell my students that I know life doesn't stop just because you're in school. I know that student is only one of the hats that you wear. You have many other hats that you wear, lots of other responsibilities. Sometimes things come up that are out of our control and may have an impact on your academics, may have an impact on your life. If something like this happens and you're really not sure who to talk to, your academic advisor is really a good first step. We may not be able to solve everything in one day, but we can certainly come up with a plan for moving forward, and we can absolutely get you in contact with someone who may be able to help as well. So that is just kind of a summary of what we do in a typical semester. So what is it that we expect from you guys in a typical semester? We want you to come to your advising appointment with us prepared. What does that mean? Plan ahead, think about questions that you want to ask, whether it's about changing your major, studying abroad, classes for next semester. Be thinking about those things before you come and meet with us, so that we can have a really fruitful conversation, and we can talk about all the things that it is that you want to talk about in that time frame that we have. Take ownership of your degree. I always say getting a college degree is not easy, so take ownership of it, be proud of it. And taking ownership means, understanding what your requirements are and understanding how the role that you play in your degree is going to impact your future. And then follow up on referrals. We may sometimes make referrals to you for various reasons. So here's just a personal example. I'm not the biggest fan of math. If I'm a student, I would probably be told that I should go to the Math Help Center. So if I, as your advisor, say, you know what, you're struggling in Math 115, why don't you go to the Math Help Center? I'm going to expect that you're going to follow up with the Math Help Center. A lot of times we'll provide you with that contact information. We'll tell you where it is that you need to go, but we're going to expect you guys to follow up because, again, it's your degree. We're going to provide you with the information that you need so that you can be successful. So that's who we are and what we do. The next kind of piece that I want to talk to you guys about is the registration timeline. So we have at the university what's called peak advising. However, in the business school, we do our peak advising about a month earlier than the rest of the university. Again, there are 9 or 10 advisors and each of us sees about 500 of you. And all of you are required to meet with us to get your advising code, which means that we're trying to see about 500 of you in the span of a couple of months. So if you look at the graph I've got here, our fall peak advising runs typically, mid-September through November, and registration windows start opening, late October. And then in the spring, to get registered for the fall, we're meeting with you mid-February through April, and registration windows open late March. So when I say, again, peak advising, this is that time frame where we're meeting with all of you to get you registered for next semester. During this time, our appointments are only 20 minutes long, which is why I want to emphasize the importance of coming to your appointments prepared. We want to be able to help you with all of the questions that you have, and the more organized that you are coming to your appointment, the more we're going to be able to help you get better prepared. So in the business school, we will send you an email when peak advising kind of comes around. So, mid to late September, mid to late February in the spring. And the process that you will follow to go through with registration is we're going to send you an email. And I've got kind of a copy of what it looks like here. So you'll probably be getting this email soon if you haven't already. But we're going to send you an email that says, hey, registration and advising is coming up. Please go ahead and schedule an appointment with your advisor. When you get this email, please go ahead and get on your advisor's calendar. We strategically send these emails out when it's the best time for you to come and meet with us. So if we're sending that email, we want you to get on our calendar right away. Again, we're meeting with about 500 students, and so sometimes our calendars can get booked up for a couple of weeks in advance. So getting on our calendar early before your registration windows is really important. So you'll get the email from us. You will then go ahead and schedule an appointment in Starfish. Again, I'm going to send you instructions for that as well. So once you schedule your appointment in Starfish, you will meet with your advisor. Once you meet with your advisor, we are going to discuss with you a list of classes that you'll want to register for the next semester, as well as your advising code. So that way, when you leave our office or leave our virtual appointment, you should have everything that you need to get registered for the next semester. Then you will get another email from the University Registrar's office. It's going to say something along the lines of registration windows are opening. Here's how you can check to see when yours opens. So we as advisors do not have the specific day and time that your registration window is going to open, but you have the ability to check that information in your UNC Genie account. Once that information is available in your UNC Genie account, that's when the University Registrar's office is going to email you saying, hey, this information is here, please follow these steps. So that's how you'll know when you're able to register. And when I say registration window, that means the first day and time that you're going to be able to register. Registration windows typically open up at midnight. I recommend staying up and making sure that you are ready to register at midnight. The window is not going to close, so you'll be able to add and drop and adjust your schedule, but it's important to get registered when your window opens. So I talked a little bit about Starfish. This is going to be how you schedule an appointment with us. There are a couple of ways to access Starfish. Starfish.uncg.edu is the way that I access my Starfish, but you all can also access it through Canvas by going to the Starfish link. But again, I'm going to send you specific instructions for how to do that. Being prepared for your appointment. Again, so I can't emphasize being prepared for your appointment enough. Like I said, we have 20 minutes to meet with you, and we want to make sure that we're getting the most out of that conversation. And so part of being prepared for your appointment is thinking about what classes might I be able to take next semester. So here on this slide, I have a screenshot of a DegreeWorks evaluation, or at least a piece of a DegreeWorks evaluation, as well as the university catalog. Both of these resources are going to be really important in helping you identify what classes am I able to take next semester. So if we look at this DegreeWorks evaluation here, we'll see that Accounting 201 is in red. That means it's something that is still needed. Anything in blue is something the student is currently registered for. Anything in yellow with a green checkbox is something already completed. So if I'm trying to figure out what classes I can take next semester, I'm going to say Accounting 201, how do I know if I'm eligible to take that? Well, then I will use the university catalog and I will look up the accounting classes. And in the university catalog, let me go back and talk about what the university catalog is. Essentially, the university catalog is a resource that lists all of the programs within the university. This means all the majors, all the minors. It also lists important policies. But most importantly, and I think what's going to be most useful, is it lists every single class that the university offers, as well as a brief description of what that class is and the prerequisites for that class. When you go to the university catalog, you can select every specific class. So I can select accounting and it will pull up all of the accounting classes. And when I use that resource, I can look to see that, so I have completed ISM 110 and Math 151. That means I'm eligible to take Accounting 201 the next semester. So again, I'm going to follow up this presentation with an email with information for how to use both of these resources. And I definitely encourage you before your advising appointment to take some time and familiarize yourself with these resources. Your DegreeWorks evaluation, although I won't lie, it looks scary. It's a big long list of classes. It looks like you're never going to graduate, but that's not true. It really is an important resource that you're going to want to be familiar with over your next, so many years here. So again, as you're thinking about getting ready for your advising appointment, you've learned how to register for classes at this point. You've learned who we are and what we do. You have learned how to meet with us. You've learned what you need to do to come prepared. So again, make sure you're thinking about what the things are that you need to do before meeting with us. Again, thinking about what classes you want to take next semester. Maybe you're thinking about changing a major. Maybe you're thinking about studying abroad. Come prepared, have these things in mind so that, again, we can have a fruitful conversation in the 20 minutes that we have. Another thing that I want to stress is being on time for your appointment. So given that we're meeting with 500 of you, 20-minute appointments, being on time is really important. We strive to be on time when we're meeting with you all, and we want you to do the same. If you are scheduling a phone appointment with us in Starfish, please, please, please list your phone number in the appointment comments box. Otherwise, we will not be able to call you at your appointment time. And if you schedule a Google Hangout or a virtual meeting with us, make sure you're following the instructions in the email that you get from Starfish. When you schedule with us, you will get a kickback email that has instructions for how the appointment is going to be set up. For example, if someone sets a Google Hangout appointments with me, all I'm requiring is that you are logged into your iSpartan email at your appointment time so that when I send you the invitation to our Hangout, you're able to accept. So again, part of being prepared is being on time or even being early. When you do schedule an appointment with us, make sure you put it down in your calendar that you have an appointment with your advisor at this day and time. And we'll be able to, again, help you with everything that it is that you need. So again, if you do have a couple questions, I think the chat box is going to be up for just a couple more minutes. But again, we are going to send you a detailed email with follow-up instructions, kind of reiterating some of this information as well as what the process is for moving forward with meeting with your advisor. Again, this email is going to cover how to figure out who your advisor is. If you're still not sure to figure out who your advisor is, it's going to cover how to schedule with us. The email is going to cover how to use your DegreeWorks evaluation and the catalog, as well as any other kind of important questions that you guys have asked in the chat. Anything that is for the good of the group, we're going to include in that email as well. So again, if you haven't filled out the Google form, please go ahead and do so, so that way we can get you the information that you need. All right. Well, thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it. We are wrapping up just 3 or 4 minutes early. So again, if you have any questions, submit them in the chat box. We'll try to include them in the email, the follow-up email. Thank you.